Mr. President, by authorization of the State University Board of Trustees, the College Council, and the college faculty, I declare the December commencement of the State University of New York at Oswego to be in session. Would you please remain standing for the singing of the national anthem, led by David Bellis. Gentlemen, please remove your caps. Take your seats. If there are any that are standing that would like some seats, there are some seats right on the side there, I believe, and also in front here. At this point in the ceremony, I'd like to recognize the people that are sharing the platform with me. We go to my immediately left, in the back row, we find Vice President for Enrollment, Marketing, and Development, Joseph Grant, Vice President for Student Services and Dean of Students, James Wassenauer. In the front row, we have the Dean of Division of Professional Studies, F. Elizabeth Moody, and the Provost Vice President for Academic Affairs, Jane E. Milley. To my right, in the back row, we have the President of the Student Association, Dan Taft. In the front row, we have the Dean of Graduate Studies, C. Thomas Gooding. College Council Chairperson, Reverend Monsignor Francis Fafaro, and the President of our college, Stephen L. Weber. For the past few months, I've had the good pleasure of working with our first speaker of the afternoon. It's been a real delight to see Dan and to work with him, and I think that the students are very fortunate indeed to have as your student body association, the Student Association President, Dan Taft.
Thank you, Dr. Vinchak. Graduates, faculty, administration, parents, and friends, on behalf of the college community here at Oswego, I welcome you to the 1991 December graduation. Before I begin, I'd just like to point out a couple things. First of all, one myth. I am not graduating now. I'm going to be here for another semester, so you're stuck with me. Secondly, yes, I do have a speech prepared, and it's all written and ready to go. Now to my brief remarks. I would like to focus on change. We've seen many changes since we've been here at Oswego, and you're going to experience many more now that you're leaving. First of all, no more lines for registration. How many of you remember back in 1987, 88 when you had to go to Laker and register for classes? Don't put up with that anymore. Think of all the money you're going to save not having to pay for college, all the expenses you'll save for traveling and what have you. You may actually get to bed at a decent hour from now on instead of being up all night working on tests and papers or other things. And how many of you here remember when a place called the Caddy Shack is now Buckland's? Seems like so long ago, but yet so near. And how many of you had biology here and had a professor named Hamill, who's now Mayor Hamill? Kind of strange. There's also many changes in our world. Starting next year, they'll have a European Economic Community over in Europe, where they'll be trading amongst the nations. There's also the end of the Cold War, long and bitter war that we went through. Also, who thought we'd see the fall of the Berlin Wall and the unification of Germany? And recently, isn't it wonderful to see the release of all the American hostages? It's really good during the holiday season they get to be home with their families. Even the biggest problems we face, no matter how insurmountable they may be, one person can make a difference. Look at Gandhi and what he did for India, or Gorbachev and what he's done with the Soviet Union, or the UN Secretary General Javier Perez de Cuellar, who was very instrumental in getting the hostages released. So what I say now is take what you have received here at Oswego and use it for the good of society. Wish everyone a safe and happy holiday season, and peace to all. Thank you.
We take great pride in all our students and in acknowledging their success. Today is a particularly appropriate time to recognize those students who have demonstrated academic excellence by achieving graduation honors. Will those students who will graduate cum laude please rise? These students have achieved an overall grade point average between 3.3 and 3.59. Congratulations. Will those students who will graduate magna cum laude please rise? These students have achieved an overall grade point average of 3.6 to 3.79. Please rise. Congratulations. Will those students who will graduate summa cum laude please rise? These students have achieved a grade point average of 3.8 or above. Congratulations. I would be remiss if I did not also recognize two other very important groups who have been instrumental in the successes of all our students. First, I want to recognize the people who have sacrificed, encouraged, and supported students. Will the students' parents, spouses, and friends please rise to accept our recognition for your part in this graduation. And next, I want to recognize those people who have taught and mentored these students. The faculty that are representing the total college faculty, will you please rise to accept our recognition for your hard work through the many semesters and years.
Candidates for the master's degree and certificate of advanced study, please rise. Mr. President, I have the honor to present these candidates for master's degree and/or certificate of advanced study.
By the authority vested in me by the University of the State of New York, the Board of Trustees, and the faculty of this college, I confer on you the master's degree and/or the certificate of advanced study, and invest you with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. To signify this honor, master's degree graduates will have the hood bestowed upon them.
Graduate degree and advanced study recipients, please come forward at this time to be hooded or recognized. Families and guests are requested to hold their applause until all names are read.
Maria A. Tedisco, Master of Science, Human Services Counseling. Rochelle Campbell, Master of Science, Counseling Services. Rhonda Sue Hungerford, Master of Science, Counseling Services. Joan Irene Tansey, Master of Science, Counseling Services. Diane Marie Murphy, Master of Science in Education, Vocational Technical Education. Brenda Jean Wolpink, Master of Science in Education, Reading Education. Sean Barbara Gillen, Master of Science, Management. Catherine G. Schell, Master of Science in Education, Elementary Education. Gwendolyn Louise Maturo, Master of Science in Education, Secondary English. Donna Jean Barnell, Master of Science in Education, Elementary Education. Susan M. Dombrowski, Master of Science in Education, Elementary Education. Deborah Blackburn Tompkins, Master of Science in Education, Elementary Education. Nancy Goodwin Comey, Master of Science in Education, Elementary Education. Patricia Ann Fadden, Master of Science in Education, Elementary Education. Janet M. Jocelyn, Master of Science in Education, Elementary Education. Mary Elizabeth Gustella, Master of Science in Elementary Education. Keith David Himes, Master of Science in Education, Elementary Education. Michelle Lynn Serban, Master of Science in Education, Elementary Education. Conjeta M. Ostuni, Master of Science in Education. Kimberly Ann Fisher, Master of Science in Education, Vocational Technical Education. Susan Michelle DeVay, Master of Science in Education, Reading Education. Sandra Housel Martin, Master of Science in Education, Reading Education. Donna M. Fozolt, Master of Science in Education, Elementary Education. Debbie A. Knapp Kruger, Master of Science in Education, Elementary Education.
Candidates for the baccalaureate degree, please rise. Mr. President, I have the honor to present these candidates for the baccalaureate degree.
By the authority vested in me by the State University of New York, the Board of Trustees, and the faculty of this college, I confer on you the baccalaureate degree and invest you with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. To signify this honor, please move your tassel from right to left.
Baccalaureate degree graduates, please come forward to receive congratulations from your dean, the provost, and the president. Families and guests are requested to hold their applause until all names are read.
Susan Verbeck, summa cum laude. Sandra Noblek, summa cum laude. Rosanna Sabone, summa cum laude. Sandra M. Johnson, summa cum laude. Sharon Jean Anderson, summa cum laude. Ursula Johnston, summa cum laude. Marcia Ann Rogers, summa cum laude. Linda Francis Shannon, summa cum laude. Patrick M. Collins, cum laude. Gregory Ronald Golding, cum laude. John Louis Sinocioni. Stephen Dorio, cum laude. Daniel R. Hurd, cum laude. Karen Michelle Dykeman, cum laude. Jamie Ann Gerber. Brett W. Hall. Michael James Hazard. Joyce M. Brook, cum laude. Susan Elizabeth Busler. Chester Austin Brostek, cum laude. Eric Stephen Atkins. Wendy Lee Duncan. Carol Marie Feeney. Alexandra B. Evans, magna cum laude. Joel Freer. Karen Kimberly Gentile. Charlene Hale. Cheryl Lynn Graham. Sharon Shimoleski, magna cum laude. Cheryl Lynn Grow. Kristen Lee Fish. Deborah Timmerman Adams. Jennifer Marie Hildreth. Carrie Lisa Feldstein. Jennifer Ann Caputo. Christina Marie Gorham. Christine Healy. Teresa S. Driscoll. Karen Grace Highland. Andrea Patricia Cerulli. Paul Herbert Curtis. Michael Cohn. Matthew Allen Mays. Anne Marie Skamaka. Christina Felstad. Jacqueline Marie Group. Michelle Ann Riley. Renee Cicatello. Kirsta Marie Johnson. Julie Ann Holler. Russell Gordon Finley. Kevin David Kaus. Paul Andrew Vinik, Kevin John Martin, Nicholas Richard DeMeo, Charles Raymond Battaglia, Abram Peter Moore Roses, Lee Michael Krukowski, Aaron Charles Johnston, Sean Michael Kramer, Benjamin Lee Laughlin, cum laude, Louis Charles Kellogg, Steve Michael Sullivan, Glenn K. Brickman, Kenneth James Haneluk, Deborah Joy Decatur, Catherine Marie Stein, Richard Saun Sayeth, Matthew James McLaughlin, Raymond Stanley Grabowski II, Gregory Wilfred Montague, Joel Anthony McMahon, John Robert Perlman, Stacy Marie Rule, Susie Lynn O'Brien, Jeanette Pauline Michaels, Valerie P. Mascari, Tracy Ann Tavernisi, Denise R. Munt, Michelle B. Vogel, Cheryl Marie Mumma, cum laude, Nicolina Pizzuto, magna cum laude, Susan S. Mathewson, cum laude, Kathleen J. Cason, cum laude, Joanne Ida Norton, cum laude, James Henry LaGraff, Melvin Jerome Shaw, Shuping Yu, Patrick Christopher Crowley, John David Miller, Daniel Albert O'Brien, Stephen Wink, Timothy A. Weller, cum laude, Kristen Marie Schwarthout, Mark David Matthew, Donald Joseph Owen, Tracy L. Wagner, Susan Mary Reed, Diane Ellen McGrath, Edgardo Gajwa Marcando, Anne Margaret Burkett, cum laude, Donna E. Sutterby, Edward Gormley, Christine Ann Phillips, Melissa Ann Zamolka, Shannon Marie Becker, Emily Grace Leisingring, William Scott Pettit, David Lawrence Longo, cum laude, Aaron Lee Forrest, Craig L. Lucian, Tracy Lynn Privatera, Sonia Lynn Nordquist, Robin Renee Trudeau, Kimberly Helen Ellsworth, Eileen Ann Wallace, Nancy Elaine Leto, Michelle Renee Nelson, Tracy Louise Sheehan, Matthew G. Snyder, cum laude, Julia A. Sinsabog, cum laude, Robin Elizabeth Fitzgerald, cum laude, Jewel Ann Munger, cum laude. Mitzi E. Felt. Theodore Frank Coringa II. Robin Lee Price. Chester G. Katzman. Michelle Renee Kaufman, cum laude. Sarah L. Rector. Kristen Louise Wood.
What a joyous moment, isn't it? And to realize that there's only one of you that needs a job. So it was advertising. In the best of times, almost anyone can be a leader. In the worst of times, only the true leader rises to meet the challenge. For 3.5 years, President Stephen Weber has met an onslaught of challenges with style and grace befitting an outstanding leader. At this time, because of the horrendous budget picture that we face at this college, as other units in State University of New York do at the same time, and other state agencies will be facing. In fact, I would say this is one of the greatest challenges this college has had to face in its long, illustrious history. And how fortunate it is that we have Steve Weber to lead us through the perilous days that lie ahead. And how appropriate it is that the challenge to this year's graduates will be given by President Stephen Weber.
Thank you, Herb. This is a proud day for us all. For those students who have just received their degrees, for parents and loved ones who have given support during years of study. And it is a proud day for us, the faculty of this college. Together we have worked and struggled and grown. Now you take your leave of us to assume positions in business, industry, education, and public service. For many, this moment is bittersweet. People cannot live and work together as we have done without developing close ties, some of which will now be stretched and others broken by time and distance. But on balance, it is a happy sadness. A sadness occasioned by accomplishment, by moving on to other things. A healthy sadness of growth, which leaves behind one period to move into another and to assume still greater responsibility. Each of you has traveled a somewhat different path, facing different challenges to bring you to this moment. This campus has watched you work and watched you play, has taught you lessons and has learned lessons from you. It has seen you pull together, and it has seen you pull apart, been made joyful by your laughter and saddened by your tears. And through it all, it has watched your growth with a quiet confidence in your ability, your strength, your caring, and your determination. You have each done well. You've met the challenges, you've stretched and grown, and most of all, you have acquired the knowledge, the skill, sensitivity, and I hope the wisdom necessary to make an enhanced contribution. Earlier, I conferred upon you degrees and all the rights and privileges pertaining to those degrees. As with all such rights, there are correlative responsibilities. It is your privilege to live in a crucial moment of human history, a moment in which the values of our civilization itself are being called into question. The task of testing, strengthening, and where necessary, altering those values will soon fall to you. I hope that as you go forth from this college, you will remember that you have a responsibility to share your insights, your expertise, your understanding with others. I know I speak for all the citizens of New York when I say we owe you our thanks for rising to the challenge, for devoting these years of your life to developing the skills and talents which our society so desperately needs. We are indebted to you for spending long hours of study, acquiring the capacity which will allow you to assume positions of responsibility and leadership. Years ago, Iroquois Indians named this place Oswego, meaning pouring out place, in recognition of the rivers which come together here and spill into the lake. Our college has taken its name from this place. It is a good choice, for we too are a pouring out place. We pour forth talent and knowledge and energy and innovation and caring. You are our river. We now lovingly and proudly pour you forth to nourish this earth, which has been entrusted to us and brothers and sisters with whom we share it. Best wishes to you.
Would you please stand while David Bellis leads us in the singing of the Alma Mater? The words are printed on the back of the program. Seated. I would like to invite you to continue the festivities of the day by joining us in the snack bar area for a reception that will follow immediately following the ceremony. Also, I would appreciate it if you would remain in your seats until all the graduates have left the ballroom. Mr. President, I declare the December commencement to be adjourned.